Go for it. 2359.
So that was the price for that officer helping that kid fix his little scooter, because the wheel started to come loose in the front, so he fixed it for him and he got to ride it. That's what we do. All right, just got a call for an alarm residential. Basically, somebody's home alarm went off. If they can't get a hold of anybody at the residence, then they dispatch officers to it. So headed there now, and we'll check it out when we get there. All good? So that was just a basic alarm call. They send 2 units to every alarm call. And in this case, the other officer was closer than I was, so he got here first and he went ahead and checked the perimeter of the property. We get these daily, multiple times a day out of all the houses in the area, so you do get a little complacent with them. After you do this for a while, you start to get those feelings of certain ones you're like, this is kind of hinky, I'm gonna wait for the other unit. But a lot of times when it's a motion sensor inside, things like that, the real common ones from pets, we typically go there and start walking the perimeter of the house, checking doors, checking, to see if it looks like there was any signs of forced entry. And then if there was, that's where you kind of hold, wait for the other unit, and then we go in. So in this case, he had checked the whole perimeter of the house. Everything was secured and good to go just as I was pulling up on the scene. And then, he kind of obviously waved me off. You probably saw. And so that's what happens on a lot of these. So that unit that we just left with on the alarm call made a traffic stop just around the corner from where we were at. So since I was obviously right behind him, we're gonna stop and back him up, just make sure everything's good to go. What's that?
I feel like a criminal.
Are you?
No.
Nah, I was just right around the corner, so we usually just stop by and make sure.
Single mom, 3 kids.
You're the worst kind.
I know.
You said you agreed with me.
No, I stopped.
You agreed.
I stopped. I didn't finish my I know, but what the hell does that mean?
I don't know. It sounded good.
When I bought the car, do they not transfer over the tags?
They're supposed to. If you bought it from a dealer.
Yeah, that's what I told them when I pulled out the registration. I literally shoved all that shit right there.
Okay.
The numbers that I bought the car.
Right.
Like the agreement.
Okay.
All right, Jessica, take care.
Simple call like that. So apparently when this girl bought that car, the dealer never did the proper transfer of tag to that one. So it's coming up with like her old tag, but she had all of the proper paperwork in there showing that that car's like good to go, but it didn't ever get registered with the actual DMV. So she'll have to take that up with the place she bought it from and then ultimately at the DMV. So I know in some of my videos before, you guys had asked, do we always have 2 people on traffic stops? Why are all, those cops there? So the area that we work, we're usually pretty close to another officer. And just for safety reasons, if we see them do a traffic stop, we stop by just to see what's going on, just have an extra body there. Now, in this case, not an issue, but a lot of times I'll hang out, and you heard me, I was just talking to the lady a little bit, almost to keep them company for a little bit, and or that particular officer is a newer officer, and I get asked lots of questions as being a training officer. So sometimes I just hang out in case they have some questions about that sort of stuff, especially when it comes to title work and registrations, just because I've dealt with it for so many years. I, fairly versed in it, and some of the newer people aren't until they run into that situation for the first time. So that's it. That's why we hang out and just kind of stand by. It's not for any kind of intimidation tactics or anything like that. It's just, if nothing else, like I said, just to kind of hang out. If we don't have anything else going on, then why not? All right, call I'm headed to right now. It's titled an assist citizen. The person is waiting in the main lobby of our police station, and basically it just says she would like a subject removed from her residence. However, the subject is not there at this time. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. Most likely gonna boil down to an advice-giving situation having to do with the civil eviction process and things like that. So we'll find out shortly here. I'm pulling up now. Hi, what can I do for you? No, I can sit down if you'd like, actually.
Okay. It's been many years, but I took in someone who had been homeless.
Okay.
Living in my house. And it's gotten to a point where I don't want him there anymore.
Okay. Yes. So wait, you would be giving him money to move out? It's your house, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he has mail there.
Correct. So here's where things stand. Right now, he has legal residency there. So basically, the only two options are he either moves out on his own free will, or you have him evicted.
And then I have to do the legal procedure. That's why.
Correct, and that's what the eviction is. So you go down to the courts, you fill out the paperwork. It usually takes roughly 30 days, and then the courts would force him out at that point, and he would get nothing. He'd have to leave. That would be the end of it. Now, if he leaves on his own, that would be kind of the mixture of what you're saying. If you're offering him some money, hey, I'll get you a week at a motel or 2 weeks, whatever it is, type of thing, and he willingly accepts that offer and goes to the motel, takes all his belongings and stuff. Yeah, 100% legal. Yeah, you can do anything, because this whole thing is civil. So basically, it's an arrangement, almost like a business arrangement between the two of you. So whatever you decide to do or works for you guys is completely fine. Now, what I would suggest is, if you do something like that, maybe the day that you do it, that you either give him the money or get him the motel, call us. We'll come out there and do what's called to keep the peace. We'll just stand by while you guys, while you give him the money and he gets his stuff and moves.
Well, he probably can't take all of it, but I...
Okay, what you would want to make sure, though, what would have to happen as part of that deal is that he gets all of his main personal belongings, like all of his living type stuff. So his clothing, his toiletries, all that sort of stuff. Because if he didn't, all right, let's just say hypothetically, you give him $500, you give him cash, whatever. He's supposed to go to this motel and he doesn't do it. He blows the money, does whatever, and shows back up at your house and's like, I live here. And you're like, no, you moved out. And then you call us and we get there. All he has to do is be like, hey, look, my mail comes here, all of my clothes are in this house, my TV's in this house, all my property's here, and we're gonna get there and go, this is a big sticky civil situation. You need to have him evicted and all that. We can deal with a TV, all right? If there was a car in the driveway or a TV, just a random thing left behind that he couldn't take, as long as you could articulate that to us and say, hey, look, he moved out on this date. I gave him $500. He has all his clothes. He has all his, he doesn't live here anymore. I allowed him to leave the TV.
Change the law.
Correct. That's another thing you would want to do immediately. Yep. Well, you have to weigh that, though, because sometimes, he'll take your kindness as weakness and he'll keep dragging you along further and further and further. So I would suggest being pleasant but firm. Hey, this is what we need to do. I've got the money together. Let's get this stuff, and make sure he's doing his part. All right. If you get the money together, I wouldn't just go hand him money and he hasn't packed up a single thing in the house yet, type of thing. I would say, hey, as soon as you get this sort of stuff packed, we'll go down. I'll get you the room, and when we move all your stuff there, I'll give you the remainder of it. However you want to do it, but make sure you're covered, that he doesn't basically kind of pull a fast one on you. And Any other questions? Of course. No, absolutely. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure meeting you. All righty. Well, good luck with everything. Call us if you need anything. All righty. You take care.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, just like I had mentioned, boiled down to just simple advice. A lot of people are very unfamiliar with the civil eviction process or how that stuff works. They let people move into their homes, and next thing you know, they're a horrible roommate and they want them out, and you can't just kick them out. So we're able to handle that with just a little conversation, and we're good to go. All right, so literally the second we were finishing up that call for a suicidal subject came out, and this gentleman says he's not feeling good. He actually says he wants to go to detox. So it may be an alcohol issue more so than anything else. We'll get there and find out. Police department.
Police?
You called? Okay.
No, I actually called 911. I needed detox.
So it's more of a medical type thing than you're not wanting to hurt yourself or do anything like that.
Oh, no.
Okay.
God.
You were at a hospital?
All right.
No.
Then
Did you call this for you?
I called 911. I said,
yeah, this is the paramedics.
oh, okay.
That's who you do want, not me.
What's that? What's going on?
No, I've drank too much. I've been drinking like 2 or 3 days. I can't
Okay.
stop. I need some help.
Okay, you don't want to go to the hospital? Okay, come, get you on the picture.
You want to get your keys and lock everything up?
You know, for some reason, the last 3 days.
That's fine. We'll get you.
Damn.
We were all already up here for something else that was going on, so they just sent a bunch of people over here. You're all set. You can go with them.
I just need.
So there's another one really simple. In fact, this was basically just a big miscommunication. Unfortunately, when these calls come in to 911, they have to do the best job they can deciphering what it is that the person wants. And unfortunately, sometimes the people don't do the greatest job of explaining what it is that they want. So based on, I guess, several things that the guy said, they thought he was possibly suicidal. So they sent police and medics. And obviously you saw the reaction when we got there is, why are the police here type of thing. So he didn't need us. He wasn't suicidal. He didn't want to hurt himself. He basically just wanted to go to detox and, was looking for the medics. So we were able to arrange that while we were here. And that was that. Pretty straightforward.